Chapter 45. I heard you left Fourth Master Swan's bed 7 years ago. What happened to Jean? Monica screamed. Sometimes, she would be driven mad by Finn. Finn was still indifferent. Monica broke down. She turned around and pushed open the bedroom door, wanting to go in. At the same time, Finn grabbed Monica's arm and dragged her away forcefully. Finn, you son of AB*TCH, let go of me. Monica shouted. Finn brought Monica back to his room with brute force and closed the door. Monica was filled with anger. Sleep here tonight, Finn said coldly in a low voice. Monica was stunned, and her eyes were wide open. In the 3 years they had been married, they had never slept together. Jean has her pride. If you're still friends, don't look at her pathetic state, Finn said coldly. At that moment, he turned around and was about to leave. Monica grabbed him suddenly. Where are you going? To your room. Finn, you scum. Monica could not help but shout angrily. She knew this man must be lusting after Jeannie's beauty. I'm going to help you get a change of clothes. After saying that, Finn walked out. FCK, I'm not a cripple. I don't need your help. Not long after, Finn returned to his bedroom and handed Monica a set of pajamas and her undergarments. Monica looked at the clothes in her hands and looked up at Finn. You like this style? At that moment, she even waved her sexy leopard print bra and panty in front of him. Finn did not reply. He walked straight to the balcony outside the bedroom and said, "Go take a shower yourself." Then, he closed the French window. The moment he closed it, his ears were red. Ellipsis. Finn panted slightly. He picked up the phone and dialed. The call was quickly picked up. Finn, Fourth Master, I don't think you're needed anymore. When Jean arrived, he prepared the medicine for Jean while he called Fourth Master Swan. Finn could not guarantee that his medicine would work, let alone that Jean would not be able to control herself before the medicine took effect. Fourth Master Swan held his phone, and his eyes seemed to move. He replied, "Okay." The phone was hung up. There were no emotions. Finn also put down his phone. He lit a cigarette and took a few puffs. The smoke lingered, and he stayed on the balcony for about half an hour. He returned to his room and suddenly stopped. Monica had just come out of the shower. She was wearing a translucent silk nightgown with a white sling. Her leopard print bra and panty were faintly discernible. Her hair was wet, and she wiped it casually with a towel. As she walked to the bed, she asked, "Where are you sleeping?" "There's a hairdryer in the bathroom. Dry your hair before you sleep," Finn said and left. Sometimes, Monica felt that talking to Finn was a waste of her time. If she were to go crazy one day, she must have been driven mad by this scum. Finn took a deep breath and walked into Monica's bedroom. In the bedroom, the person lying on the bed was no longer as tense as before. As soon as he entered, she opened her eyes. From her eyes, he knew that the effects of the drug had dissipated a lot. "Are you feeling better?" Finn asked. "I'm much better." Jean forced herself to sit up. Finn stood not far away from her. "What happened?" "The Lawrences and their sh*T, Jean said nonchalantly and asked, "Do you have a cigarette?" "Do you smoke?" "Yes." Finn took out a cigarette from his clothes and lit it for her. Jean took a puff. Her movements were elegant, and the smoke lingered around her with style. "Did you know that you'd be schemed against tonight?" Finn asked again. Jean nodded slightly. "Since you knew, why didn't you take precautions in advance or come to me before it showed effect? That way, it'd be much easier for you." Jean had asked Monica to call him in advance. That was the preparation she made. Jean smoked quietly. She answered, "To get some evidence. I've never seen you before, but I heard from Monica that you've changed a lot from the past." Taking a step back, what I'm trying to say is the eldest young lady of the Lawrences ought to be pampered and shouldn't have endured so much. "I've never seen anyone who was drugged and had to endure it," Finn said. "You should know that 7 years ago, my father beat me with a whip and kicked me out of the Lawrence family's residence. Besides, the enmity between the Lawrences and I doesn't end there." "Did hatred make you stronger then?" Finn raised his eyebrow. Jean smiled and put out the cigarette butt. "These are my private matters. I don't want to tell others for the time being." Finn smiled as well. Since that was the case, he did not ask any further. He said, "The effects of the drug won't disappear completely. You can take a cold shower. It might be better. I won't disturb you anymore." "Where's Monica?" Jean asked. "In my room." "What happened between the two of you?" "She didn't tell you?" Finn asked. "No." Finn was silent for a few seconds before he responded. "She fell in love with someone else, and we're now in a marriage of convenience." As for why there's a marriage of convenience, the process is very complicated. In short, Monica's parents threatened her with their lives, so she was forced to agree to marry me. Do you still like her? Jean asked. She hit the nail on the head. Who knows? Jean wanted to say something else. Finn said directly, since I told me about me, can I ask something about you, Ms. Lawrence? For example, Jean raised her eyebrow with a hint of vigilance. I heard from Knox that you left Fourth Master Swan's bed 7 years ago, Finn said straightforwardly. Jean looked at him. Finn smiled. Don't worry. Besides me, Knox hasn't told anyone else. For things that aren't too important, I'll choose to forget about them. Jean smiled. Finn nodded. It was as if he had expected that he would not be able to find out anything. He said, rest early. I suggest that you fully recover before you leave. Thank you. Finn turned around and walked out of the bedroom. Jean watched as the door closed. 7 years ago. Jean from 7 years ago was different from the one now. Ellipsis. Finn returned to his room. Monica slept on his bed as though it was a matter of course. She looked at him and ignored him. Finn did not speak to her either. He went to the closet to get a change of clothes and walked into the bathroom. After a while, Finn came out. Following that, he lifted the blanket on the bed. At that moment, Monica sat up abruptly. Finn, where are you sleeping? Don't worry, I'm not interested in you. B starred. Monica was mad at this moment. She was absolutely mad. Otherwise, how could she sit on Finn's after hearing what he said? She put her arms around his neck.